What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
How does a woman have 5 or 6 children but still end up in a nursing home? No more wasting time. Let's get it.
How does a woman have 5 or 6 children and still end up in a nursing home? Y'all put her away. Nobody go to see her unless it's on a holiday or a birthday, maybe. She's treated just like she never existed. You going on with your life because why? Oh, I'm too busy. I can't take care of mama. I have other things I have to do. I have a family. Well, mama had other things that she had to do too, but guess what? She took care of you. Now, if she wasn't a great mom to you, okay, I get it. But there are a lot of great moms that are stuffed away in a nursing home somewhere because their children are too selfish to make sure that they're okay. And that one person who want to take care of their mom, the one person that might step up, be the one that she treated like shit the whole time. For some reason, they trying to get that validation of love. Give your mom her roses while she's still here. Don't wait until you get to that funeral and get to flopping and hollering and doing all that dumb shit. And some of you just don't care anyway. You just worried about what she gonna leave you once she die.
All right, guys, you guys heard the question for yourself. We have a mother here who asked, how does a woman have 5 or 6 children but yet still end up in a nursing home? So the first thing I want to do here is compliment this woman. She looks great for her age, right? Shout out to her.
Like my coffee like I like my women.
Next thing I want to do is ask a different question, kind of turn the question around. And my question is, how does a woman have 5 or 6 children but yet not have a husband? Let's have a real conversation here. One of the things that's not talked about a lot, which I've thought about a lot, but I don't think I've talked about a lot on my channel, is the burden a lot of single mothers. Now, disclaimer, I don't know if she was married and maybe her husband passed away. Most likely in these type of situations, that's not the case, but I don't know. And I don't think that's the case, but I'm just saying that because it would suck to direct this video at her, which it's not. This is a general video to most women in this position. Generally speaking, a lot of women, single mothers, when they get older, don't realize that because they couldn't get along with the man, because they were unmarried up until retirement and their elderly years. I've seen this plenty of times. Single moms, I've told you guys, I've worked in retirement homes for about a decade. I've seen this firsthand with my own eyes. Single mothers who have children, and she's right, a lot of them don't come visit them. But if you're a single mother and you're in a retirement home, you're fortunate if you can afford that. But you wouldn't be complaining and you would not be lonely if you were married. She's complaining about people coming to visit her. In my experience, the people who had the easiest times in nursing homes and retirement homes were people who were married and also had kids who visited often because they valued family. You see, guys, what I mean is you have these single women, the single mothers who say, I can do it by myself. I don't need a man, right? You have a broken family. You make it harder for you to first provide for your children. They grow up wishing they had a father. They grow up feeling like their family is incomplete. You don't realize that indirectly you're telling those children that like, hey, family isn't that important. I'm all you need. And they grow up not valuing family. I can only imagine that young children who grew up in 2-parent households are probably more likely to go visit their parents even in retirement homes. In fact, I've actually seen that myself, right? I've actually seen that myself. Because here's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to retire with your husband for as long as he's alive. Most likely, women outlive men. There's a lot of women in nursing homes because women outlive men, right? But you're not supposed to sit there and guilt trip your children and expect them to be with you because you don't have a man. But this is what happens a lot of the time. This is another consequence of embracing and encouraging women to be these single mothers, and those women convincing themselves that they don't need a man, is eventually you're going to reap the consequences of that. You will retire on your own. Those children are supposed to start their own families. And a woman like this, who's sitting there talking about, well, mama had to do it on her own and she had to sacrifice. You didn't have to. You could have found a man. You could have learned to humble yourself, but no, right? Women today are strong and independent. And unfortunately, this is part of the consequence of that mentality. Not to mention, your kids are at a disadvantage, right? They're probably not equipped with the tools and they have to survive and fend for themselves, but they're not equipped with the tools to provide for their families, their own lives, as well as they could be if they had a father in the home. And so, like I said, I would turn this question around to a lot of women who say, well, I want kids, but I don't want to get married. Well, be ready to go through this. Be ready to not have anybody the closer you get to retirement. Your kids will leave, they will start living their own lives, and you will be by yourself.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Drink the coffee. As always, the people did respond. We're going to check out some of these comments. Let's see what the people have to say. First comment here comes from a woman, and it reads, as a nursing home worker, I've heard stories from patients' children on how bad of a parent they were to them, and the children never forget, with a surprised emoji. Another person here responded and says, yes, was a nursing home worker as well and just posted something similar. They may be nice to tell us, but you never know how they were as a parent years ago. That is true. That is another aspect as to why you may be in a nursing home. Another comment here from another woman says, because we had to take care of ourselves and had to listen to mom constantly tell us that she regretted having us. Damn. Think about that, right? Again, this sounds like another single mother. Next comment here from another woman says, I didn't give birth to my kids as a safety net for when I got old and needed looking after. I want my kids to enjoy their lives. So this comment got over 4,000 likes. Yeah. It's very unfair to make your kids feel guilty for living their lives, because a lot of single moms in this situation, they do put that burden on the children to take care of them after they're older and they have their own kids. And usually those kids they have usually are single parents themselves. So the cycle just continues. And I believe putting that burden on those kids when you should be retiring on your own, preferably with the husband, is unfair. Next comment here from another person says, some children don't have the resources to care properly for their mom for X. Alzheimer's or dementia makes it difficult to keep them home. Yes, I worked in dementia units in specific for the majority of my time in retirement homes. It's difficult. Next comment here from another person says, people are talking about their trauma from their parents, but she mentioned in the video she's talking about good mothers and parents in general. The creator responded back to that person and says, exactly, they just overlooked the whole point. And I also said, make sure they're okay. Go check on them. It's always the guilty people. And then that commenter responded back to her and says they'll understand one day if they are ever put in a home. Next comment from another person says, why do nursing homes have such a negative stigma with question marks? Not everyone can afford to take care of their parents. Yeah, here's the thing too. Not everyone can afford, most people can't afford nursing homes. Retirement homes are expensive. And if you are in one, it's a luxury, especially if you need dementia care and stuff. Like, it costs a lot. Next comment here says, my dad told me something. You don't owe anybody anything, not even me and your mom. If you're doing something off your own thought, then let that be that. Listen, guys, as always, I'm curious to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.